This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.
Well, she's from Toronto. She has a new song out now called Faceplant. She's on tour now. Get all the info. It's LØLØmusic.com, and it is Lolo. How are you?
I'm good. How are you? Thanks for having me.
Thanks for coming by. I think you are based in L.A. now, but tell me about Toronto. Were you born there? Did you grow up there? Tell me about life in Toronto.
Yes, all of the above. I'm from Toronto. I'm actually from the city in Toronto. A lot of people say they're from Toronto, but it's like the greater area. But yes, I was actually born in the city, and it was cool. I mean, I love Toronto, besides the fact that it's freezing cold most of the time.
A large part of the year, yep.
Yeah.
What bands did you hear growing up, from maybe your parents or friends that sort of, influenced your sort of musical direction?
Yeah, growing up, I would say I was on a huge Green Day, Avril Lavigne, and Hilary Duff kick.
Okay.
Like, those were my three. That was like the trifecta of influences and love. And those were my obsessions. Those were the CDs I was putting on in my basement, putting on shows for my parents. So I would say, honestly, that that's like kind of a very valid amalgamation of what my music sounds like today. So yeah.
So being a Canadian, is it law that you must love the band Rush and Bryan Adams and the Tragically Hip and Gordon Lightfoot and all these great artists from Canada? Were your parents listening to that kind of stuff growing up? Or?
Honestly, my parents, they weren't listening to that kind of stuff. My parents aren't very like rock and roll parents. I mean, they were listening to like I don't even really know what they were listening to, but not that. But I don't know how I got my hands on my Green Day and Avril CD, but they bought that for me.
Okay.
So yeah, so they were a little bit cool.
Right. I saw an article in Kerrang where you list some songs that changed your life, and you just sort of mentioned these already. Favorite bands on there: Green Day, Death Cab for Cutie, Five for Fighting, Avril Lavigne. And so, yeah, you have to tell me the truth now. This song, Faceplant. Now, I have faceplanted while skiing, while swimming, while surfing, etc. But this song actually was inspired by an actual faceplant.
Yes,
and
it
sounds
while walking,
rather painful. So tell me about that.
Okay, so I was visiting my family in Toronto, and it was freezing, as I mentioned before. Never visiting them in the winter again. And I was leaving a guy's house and getting into my Uber. I had both of my hands in my pocket because it was so cold. And my mom always tells me, don't walk with your hands in your pocket. You're going to fall. You can't stop your fall. Hate that moms are always right. Because I fell. I wiped out. I went chin first on the concrete, split my chin open, fractured both sides of my jaw, my nose, and my chin. Okay.
Wow.
Yeah. And so I get up, and I remember the Uber said to me, are you coming? And I like just looked down, I just saw black, and I heard like crazy like ee! And I looked down, and I'm like, why are my hands wet? And I looked down, and it's just gushing out of my chin. And so I ended up going to the emergency room, got all stitched up.
In the same Uber?
No, I ran back up to the guy's house and I banged on the door. That was, I'm sure, a very traumatic wake up for him. Yeah, so got to the hospital, they stitched me up and everything, and that's when I wrote down on my phone, faceplant, as an idea. I didn't just fall for you, I faceplanted.
That's like a lightning bolt for you to write a song.
Yeah, it took a little while because I couldn't really speak for like a few weeks.
Wait, were you on a liquid diet and all that stuff?
I was on a liquid diet for 2 months. They originally told me it would be 1 month, and then I went to the doctor to get a checkup, and they were like, you're not ready yet. You're still like pretty fractured still.
So like smoothies and soup.
Avocado, soup. I started having like rice, like just like swallowing rice because I couldn't chew it. Even though the doctor kept getting mad at me. He's like, don't even do that. But I did do that, which is probably why it took 2 months instead of 1. But
and I saw this photo. Now, is that a real photo of the actual day of the incident?
So that's so funny because yes. So when I was getting stitched up, the doctor was asking me what I did, and I told him that I was like a singer and a songwriter.
Oops.
And so after he stitched me up, he said, I have a feeling you might want a picture of this for TikTok. And I was like,
what a progressive doctor.
Yeah, I know. I was
right?
like, oh, I mean, not pictures on TikTok, but he tried.
Yeah.
So I took a selfie and like mid like tear, I was like bawling my eyes out. So like my eyes are all like black and whatever. And yeah, so I took that. That's the selfie before he put the Band-Aid on. He's like, you might want to take a selfie. So.
It's like it's a perfectly symmetrical cut on your chin too. It's like lined up perfectly, a little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. It's like completely centered. And there is a great reenactment of this in the video for the song placement, faceplant.
Yes, I thought it would be really funny if in the video I had like a Band-Aid exactly where I split my chin open. And of course in the video it's on a bike, which funny enough, I can't really ride a bike, which you can maybe tell in the video because I keep swerving. My parents took off my training wheels way too early, so I blame them for that. But yeah.
Are you on tour? You're on tour with some pretty cool bands these days, right? Talk about some of them.
Yeah, I'm on tour right now with Boys Like Girls, State Champs, and the Somerset.
Okay.
It's actually been kind of like a lot of people are coming in and out. Me, State Champs, and Boys Like Girls are on the tour the whole time. But then we've had Every Avenue. We've had 4 Years Strong. We've had 303 take that second spot. So it's been really cool meeting so many bands. It kind of feels like, I know they were trying to make it like a kind of Warped Tour vibe with so many bands. Yeah. But being a consistent on the tour, I get to meet everyone. So it's been really cool, especially with like 303. I used to like listen to that as a kid, and they're so funny.
Tell me about some of the coolest moments being on tour for the last several months or a year now. Does anything come to mind like, I can't believe I met them, or I can't believe I did this, or I played that venue, or, talk about some of the highlights.
Yeah, well, the highlights of just like being out and about, I would say like the most craziest moment for me was I met Green Day at a bar on a random Wednesday night. It was like my biggest inspiration. And
where?
It was
what city?
In LA at the Sunset Marquee Bar.
Classic.
Yeah.
Yeah, go in style.
Yeah, it was very unexpected. I was like at a friend's birthday doing karaoke, and then all of a sudden I was there, and it was just Billy and Mike, but it was so cool. And I went up to them and I was like, you are the reason I make music. I know it's LA and we're not supposed to do this, but like, you're the reason I make music. Like, can I buy you guys a drink? And I did. And then after I went to the bathroom and bawled my eyes out. But I acted cool for them. So they think I'm cool.
Have you heard the new song, The American Dream Is Killing Me?
I've heard their whole new album.
Oh, look at you. Sorry.
Yeah.
Damn, I only heard the first single. So do you love it?
I'm obsessed with it. It's so good. Yeah.
LØLØ is with us. She's got a new song out now called Faceplant. She's on tour. You can get all the info. It's LØLØmusic.com. Do you remember the first time you came to New York City? And if so, tell us that story.
I do remember. I came with my family, and we just saw a bunch of Broadway plays, and we went to Times Square. And it's actually a very pivotal moment because I was like, I want to be like on one of the billboards one day in Times Square. And I actually took a picture. I have to find it somewhere on my Instagram. I'll show you after this. But I took a picture, and it says like hoping to be up there someday. And about like only like 2 or 3 years later, I was on a Spotify billboard in Times Square. So
fantastic.
I was like, F yeah, I manifested that.
Yeah, that's a great moment, man.
Yeah.
Jeez.
And so like when I posted the billboard when it happened, I like also did like a swipe with me and with my Instagram caption, like hoping to be up there someday.
Fantastic.
So it was really cool. I was like, most of the time doing this, the music industry is so hard. Like you feel like a pathetic loser constantly, and you're like comparing yourself to people above you. But I have to always remind myself to like compare myself to me earlier and just be like, I have to be proud of myself. I have to be proud of myself.
Yes.
Yeah.
All right. Again, it's LØLØ. She has a new song out now called Faceplant. You can watch the video on YouTube, and she's on tour now. Get all the info. It's LØLØmusic.com. LØLØ, thank you so much.
Thank you so much for having me.
This is Out of the Box with your host, Jonathan Clark. Out of the Box, Sunday nights at 9 on Q1043.